Islam, the love and peace of Islam, and the freedom Christian and Jews have in the Middle East. We'll continue.
The next one says, Christians and Jews are permitted very few of the rights and freedoms that the Muslim majority is allowed. Again, this is what should be taught versus what we looked at is really taught in the textbooks in our last broadcast.
It's the opposite.
Yes.
It's exactly the opposite. Now I'd like to move on to the Pact of Omar. The Pact of Omar is a law written by the hands of the people of the book, by the hand of the Christian. Not because we enjoyed it, not because we loved it. Imagine with me, somebody is standing on top of your head and they say, write down, here what you're going to do, 1, 2, 3, 10. Or we'll kill you. We'll take your wife, we'll take your daughters, we'll rape them, we'll raise Muslim babies out of them, we're going to take your homes, we'll take your land, and we're going to take your money. What are you going to do? Of course you're going to sign the paper. Of course you're going to sign the Pact of Omar. Now, according to the teaching of the Pact of Omar.
When was the Pact of Omar created?
It was created when Muslim came, 641. When Omar came, took over Egypt and took over Jerusalem, took over Syria, and as Muslims continued to move from one country to another, they forced these laws on us, the Christian and the Jews, the people of the book, the people who own the land which they came and invaded. So, go ahead, Brother Brandon, if you don't mind, read to us the policy.
The status of non-Muslims under Muslim rule.
Exactly. That's how Muslims were treating other people, the people of the book, the Christian and the Jew. After that, we read here.
It says, from the tafsir, you're going to have
the word tafsir means interpretation.
Okay, of what? How do you say that?
Ibn Kathir, well, that's one of the great Muslim scholars.
Muslim, recorded from, how do you say his name? Abu
Huraira. Abu Huraira is one of the great, wonderful Muslim scholars too. So Abu Huraira is...
You're being sarcastic when you say great, wonderful.
To the Muslims?
Yeah, but not to you.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely
and
not.
he said that the prophet said, do not initiate the salam peace to the Jews and Christians, and if you meet any of them in a road, force them to its narrowest alley.
That means be bullies.
Yeah, be bullies.
That's what it is. Start the fight with the Jews, start the fight with Christians. Wait a minute. I saw the Muslim taught our children in our last program that the Christian and the Jew enjoy freedom, enjoy everything they like to have, but that's not what's happening. That's not what we see with the Pact of Omar, as Abu Huraira is telling us about Muhammad himself, the Prophet of Islam. We'll continue.
This is why the leader of the faithful, Umar bin
Khattab,
thank you, may Allah be pleased with him, demanded his well-known conditions be met by the Christians, these conditions that ensured their continued humiliation, degradation, and disgrace.
He demanded it. He forced it on us. Here's the rules. You're going to sign for it, like it or not, and we're going to make you pay and do what we command you to do. Exactly. And the whole purpose of this, that we'll continue to be humiliated and disgraced and literally live like second-class citizens. And that is what the Timothy is about. We're not first class. We are the slave. We are the lower stand for people, how people should be living under the rule of Omar. Continue. Here is the opening statement of the Pact of Omar.
The name of Allah, the merciful, the merciful. This is a document to the servant of Allah, Umar, the leader of the faithful, from the Christians of such and such city. When you Muslims came to us, we requested safety for ourselves, children, property, and followers of our religion.
So it's very simple, Brother Brandon. We were willing to sign this agreement, the Pact of Omar, for one purpose, that we will not be destroyed, that we will not be demolished by the hands of the Muslim, that we can live, somehow, we can live in our own country, in our own land, in our own homes. So, we continue with the rest of the Pact of Omar.
We made a condition on ourselves that we will neither erect in our areas a monastery, church, or sanctuary for a monk, nor restore any place of worship that needs restoration, nor use any of them for the purpose of enmity against Muslims.
You see what's happening here? This is the Pact of Omar, written 1400 years ago, and still practiced in Egypt today, still practiced in Sudan today, still practiced in Iraq today, still practiced in every Muslim country. We cannot build a church, and we cannot remodel a church, and we cannot do anything to upset the Muslims. And we wrote this for one purpose, that we may continue to live and will not be demolished or removed from the face of the earth by the hand of the Muslim. The next step we read.
We will not prevent any Muslim from resting in our churches whether they come by day or night, and we will open the doors of our houses of worship for the wayfarer and passerby. Those Muslims who come as guests will enjoy boarding and food for 3 days.
Literally, we change our churches from a place of worship to a hotel and breakfast and lunch and dinner. So when Muslims come to Egypt, imagine with me, you have to open your church to allow the Muslim to live in the church, to sleep inside the church, and our wives or our mamas fix a meal and serves them. We're serving the masters. We become a slave in our own country and serving the Muslim in our own churches, food and a place to rest for 3 days.
And this is, again, what is required of the non-Muslim under the Pact of Omar.
The Christian Jews, the people of the book. That is what should we teach. That's exactly what we should teach our children of public school instead of the propaganda, how what you're teaching our children about the tolerance and the love of the Muslims to the Christian and the Jew. We'll continue, we read.
We will not allow a spy against Muslims into our churches and homes or hide deceit for betrayal against Muslims.
And notice now, if it just happened that some person who has some enmity with the Muslim came to our churches or came to our homes, our covenant or the Pact of Omar is canceled, which means Muslim can do to us whatever they wish. They literally can destroy everything we got. They will wipe us out from the face of the earth. So this is not just simple rules. These rules are set there for the purpose of the destruction of the Christian, the destruction of the Jew. We're living on a hair. If something go wrong, we lose everything we got.
Then it goes on to say, we will not teach our children the Quran, publicize practices of shirk.
Shirk. They have worshipped more than one God.
Okay. Invite anyone to shirk, proselytize for Christianity, or prevent any of our fellow from embracing Islam if they choose to do so.
You know, Brennan, for years, I could not figure out why in the world Muslims do not want us to learn the Quran. You may think for a minute.
I know, because it says they will not. I was having to read that slide to see if I had it right. Because it said, we will not teach our children the Quran. Would they want that to be taught?
Exactly. If Islam is
I thought it was a typo, or I read it wrong.
No, brother, it's 100% right. And I'm telling you, and when I read this when I was in my high school, and because it's, we have to learn this stuff, and as we study and we grow up to know Islam, I said, wait a minute. Why Omar does not want the Christian of Egypt to learn the truth about the Quran? I mean, as you just said, it should be the opposite. I mean, imagine with me, if you want people to believe in Christianity, you want to teach them the Bible.
Yeah.
If you want people to believe in Jesus, you want to teach them everything you can teach them about Jesus. But that's not the whole purpose of Islam. And I could not figure out until just recently. And it hit me in my heart. It's, wait a minute. They don't want us to know Islam because when we know Islam, we destroy Islam. The biggest mistake, Brennan, the Muslim did in Egypt is they allow the Christian Coptic, the Egyptian Christian, to learn Islam. And that's why you see people like me speaking the truth about Islam.
And they taught you Islam in the schools.
They made a mistake.
Yeah.
If they have listened to Omar and literally do not allow Christians to learn anything about the Quran and Islam today, we will not have Usama Dakto, and there are hundreds like me from Egypt who are speaking the truth about Islam, and who are leading thousands, if not millions, of Muslims out of Islam because we got to know Islam. Muslims are Muslim for two reasons: because they do not know Islam, and they have no clue. They don't know the Quran, which they don't, and they have no idea who Muhammad was. If Muslims know Muhammad, they will leave Islam. If Muslim knows the Quran, they will leave Islam. And if you ask, no kidding, Brother Brennan, if you ask almost everybody who converts from Islam to Christianity, why did you leave Islam? You know what the answer is? Because I got to know Muhammad, or I got to know the Quran. The reason Muslims are Muslims, 87% of them worldwide never read the Quran, and they have no clue who Muhammad was. All they know is, was he here? Muhammad was a prophet of peace. Muhammad is a prophet of love. Muhammad is a very humble man. Muhammad was a great teacher. Muhammad was a great prophet. But if they know that Muhammad was a child molester, Muhammad was a sex offender, Muhammad was a prophet pretender, Muhammad was a womanizer, Muhammad was a thief, Muhammad was an adulterer, Muhammad was a killer, as it is written in the Quran. I mean, where did I come up with these ideas? Where did I come up with this information? It's very simple. I got to know the Quran. And that's why Omar, from the beginning, 1400 years ago, does not want Christian in Egypt to learn the Quran.
How old was this little girl he took as a wife, Muhammad?
She was 6 years old. And Muhammad was 51 at the time. And in Islam, in the Quran, a man can marry a child at birth. If a mama was pregnant and she had a baby, and the baby is a girl, a man can marry this baby girl, 1 hour old. But in Islam, as Muslims say, he cannot be involved with his wife sexually until she turns 9. So a guy could be in his 40, could be in his 50.
So
and he have-
Muhammad marries their 6-year-old, but did he become sexually active with her when she was 9?
which is 9. But that is what the Muslims say. According to Quran chapter 65 verse 4, a Muslim man can be involved with a child even before the age of maturity. Because they'll tell you, well, at 9 she become mature. No, 9s are not mature, 10s are not mature, 11s are not mature. They because after she have her first period, that means she can, and that is 9. No, it's not. And they'll give you all these lies, brother, and say, well, it's in Saudi Arabia because of the heat. The girls mature young. You mean in Europe and in Alaska, they mature what, when they're 40? It's too cold out there. Or, this is just out of touch. The people does not have any common sense. We'll continue with the back of Omar.
We will respect Muslims and move from the places we sit in if they choose to sit in them.
Segregation. If a Muslim man coming by, I'm sitting in my chair.
You get him, give him a chair.
Yes, come on in, Mr. Muhammad, take my chair.
So
Where is the tolerance here? Do you see tolerance here, Brother Brandon?
So the non-Muslim has to get up and go to the back of the bus.
Exactly, like it was here in America, black and white.
Yeah.
But see, what's happened in America here was not Christian act. That was foolishness. That's the opposite of the Bible teaches. But what is happening in Islam, that's a pact. That's a document. We signed it. We accepted it because otherwise they would kill us.
You made an interesting comment. You said that if a lot of Muslims understood Muhammad and what Islam teaches, they would leave Islam.
Absolutely.
What's so ironic is that if quote Christians in America really understood biblical Christianity and what Jesus calls them to lay down their life, to pick up their cross, to deny their self, that for the believer the trials are like sparks up from a fire. If the quote average quote Christian in America, who's really not, really understood what is required of them, all who desire to live godly in Christ Jesus will suffer persecution, 2 Timothy 3:12. If they really understood what Jesus called for, who God was, what a true Christian is, guess what? They too would leave Christianity.
Absolutely.
Isn't that ironic?
Absolutely.
Because they think Christianity is Joel Osteen's Your Best Life Now. If they came out to find out what it was really about, they would also leave.
That's why Jesus says few.
Yes.
I mean, we have to accept Jesus is a liar, or these churches are not true churches. Because Jesus said few. I mean, you go to these churches have 30, 40,000. That's not few.
43,000.
30, 40.
43,000.
43.
That's what Joel Osteen
I was
is.
close.
43,000.
43. But I'm saying is, where is the truth about Jesus said narrow is the road, few are the one who follow it. If this 80% of the American are Christians. No, they're not. I'm sorry. As you said, if the American knows the true Christian, they say, I want nothing with it. I want nothing with it.
We will not imitate their clothing, caps, turbans, sandals, hairstyles, speech, nicknames, and titles, names, or ride on saddles, hang swords on our shoulders, collect weapons of any kind, or carry any weapons. So they don't have any Second Amendment rights to keep and bear arms, do they?
Till today. I think like the only one who had guns in Egypt are the Brotherhood. And sadly, was sent to them by Barack Hussein Obama. Christian Union do not have guns, and they cannot carry guns, not just in Egypt, in any other country. Because if you got gun and some Muslim come to kill you, to take your wife and your children, you're going to shoot them and kill them. We don't want this to happen here, do we? We just want a Muslim want Christian to be vulnerable, so you come take us anytime you wish. But notice here, we're separate from the Muslims. We don't even have their names. When people told me, first time I heard the name Barack Hussein Obama, I said, the man is a Muslim. So how do you know he's a Muslim? I said, his name. See, Muslims have names, is not in Christian does not have the same names of Muslim.
Yeah, not a lot of Christians running out with the name Muhammad, are there?
No, you will never see a Muhammad by the Muslim, a Christian by the name Muhammad, or by the name Barack, or Hussein, or Obama. These are Muslim names. Not just in Egypt, it's in Kenya, where Obama came from. It is in Sudan. It is all over the Muslim world. We cannot have their nickname too. I mean, our nickname have to be separate than theirs. Why is that? So we will know who is Christian, who is Muslim. I remember when I went to college in Egypt, and my professor asked me, what's your name? I said, Usama. He said, Usama who? I said, Usama Camel. Usama Camel who? You know why he's asking me that? Usama is an Arab name from before Muhammad. It's a very strong name, which means the lion. Camel means complete. Could be a Christian, could be Muslim. It's one of the funny names which come up, of course, as you know, you may hear American names in Egypt too. The third name is Dakdok. which is not a name to be known. It's a made-up name. So but this professor now is getting nervous. I know why he's asking me. He want to know if I'm a Christian or not. So I said, Yusama Kamal Daktuk, Paulus, sir. Paulus is Paul in Arabic, which means Christian. And I put sir in the end of it because I'm telling him, I know what you're trying to get into. I'm a Christian. So from the name, in Muhammad days, until just recently, now you have this made-up names without meaning. Muslim were known by their names, and Christian is known by their names. And they do not allow us to have a Muslim name. You will never see a Christian by the name Ali, or Mustafa, or Muhammad, Khadija, or Fatma. None.
But again, that's how you knew Obama was a Muslim.
Just from his name.
Just from his name.
I have no clue who the man was. And literally, when I investigated it later, I was investigating him to find out when did he become a Christian, what church he went to, when he was baptized, what ministry he does. And I found that he's in a cult church, Trinity United Church of Christ.
Jeremiah Wright's church. Which is not a Christian church.
Absolutely. That's a Muslim. That one of the weekend breakfast, Islam, interface.
He wasn't the only Muslim going there, right?
Oh, there are plenty of Muslims
going to Jeremiah Wright's church.
As a matter of fact, there's still members there. Nation of Islam. Jeremiah Wright himself, he was a member in the Nation of Islam, and he, of course, became a Christian later by name. That's one of those who are not real Christian. So, next step, we're going to talk about the Pact of Omar here.
Okay, this is in the Pact of Omar. We will not encrypt our stamps in Arabic or sell liquor.
Well, I know about liquor. You see, in Islam, liquor is forbidden. If you sell liquor, you'll be losing your right to live, and they'll kill you. And obviously, they don't want us to do anything with Arabic. It's amazing. Even though they don't want us to learn the Quran, they don't want us to have anything to do with the Arabic language. At the same time, they were cutting our tongues. Literally, physically, take our tongues out and cut them off when they heard us spoke in the Coptic language. Because they're so worried about us speaking against them. Or do like a
so
rise.
They don't want you to learn
the Quran.
Okay.
But at the same time,
what about Arabic?
They don't want us to use the seal like you see here. You know how you sign with the stamp?
Yeah.
With your ring. They don't want to do the same with Arabic. They just want to treat us as second-class citizens. That's what it is. We have no right to exist with them in our own country.
And then the Pact of Omar goes on to say, we will have the front of our haircut, wear our customary clothes wherever we are, wear belts around our waist, refrain from erecting crosses on the outside of our churches, and demonstrating them and our books in public in Muslim fairways and markets. Again, this is what the people of the book, the Jews and the Christians, are required to do under Islam and the Pact of Omar.
Absolutely. Where is the freedom of worship here?
Well,
what is the tolerance?
They're also controlling how they dress and cut their hair and everything else.
Segregation.
Yes.
And you tell me our children in our public school are going to learn the truth or going to learn the propaganda, the hogwash they're teaching them in our textbooks? That's a problem, Brandon. If Muslims want to talk about Islam, here is the things they need. Our children need to learn about Islam or support whatever you want to teach them from the Quran. Give me Quran chapter and Quran verse and the hadith, the saying of Muhammad and the historical record. It was in Egypt between the year blah 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 and the year blah blah blah. No. It's just simply a bunch of lies to brainwash our children.
I wonder what that ignorant public school teacher who came up to you in the restaurant we talked about in the last program, who thinks, so it's wonderful when we're teaching what the heart of the Muslim is. I wonder what she would think of this, if she had to live under this, because they would consider her a person of the book simply because she's American. I mean, they consider all Americans to be Christians or Jews, right?
Unless she converts Islam.
Yeah, she convert. I wonder how she'd like to live like this.
I wish I had the time to speak with her. All I want is just read this. I let her read this Pact of Omar and I say, what do you think? That is Islam. Is that what you're teaching your children? Of course not. Next, please.
We will not sound the bells in our churches except discreetly, or raise our voices while reciting our holy books inside our churches in the presence of Muslims, nor raise our voices with prayer at our funerals, or light torches in funeral processions in the fairways of Muslims or their markets.
What is the freedom of worship?
Yeah.
You're going to worship quietly.
You got to ring your bells discreetly. I don't know how you ring bells discreetly.
Because in church in Egypt, to bring people to the service, they didn't have watch.
Right.
So the church and the bell in the church go bam, bam, loud. Everybody hear it. No, we just hit this softly. Ding, 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 ding. Something like that. But where is it? If we serve our God, if we sing softly, we don't read the Bible in public, we don't ring the church bells, and even in our death, for heaven's sake, when somebody died in Egypt, they bury them in the same day. So now, if he died early morning, they don't want his body to wait until the following day to be buried. So they want, and they're going to bury them at night. And to go to the cemetery at night to bury the person, you need light. No, you don't light the torches. You have to wait until the following morning to bury your dead. So we have no respect. We have no freedom in our worship or in our burial, for heaven's sake. Not our life, not in our death. Where is that with what is teaching our children in our public schools about the tolerance and the freedom of worship in Islam?
They don't teach the intolerance of Islam in American schools.
That is my point. That's my point.
Yeah.
We'll continue by saying,
the Pack of Omar goes on to say, we will not bury our dead next to Muslim dead or by servants who were captured by Muslims.
Two very important facts here. You know that Muslim in America will not bury their dead next to infidel Americans? I have a friend of mine, she was married to a Muslim man, she's a Christian, and she was married for 25 years. He died, his name is Muhammad, they live in Louisiana.
He was a Christian?
New Orleans.
But did he change his name?
No, she's a Christian, he's a Muslim.
He's a Muslim, okay.
I tried to minister to him 3-4 times, and he was going circle, don't want to listen. He died. She buried him in their own burial place. She have a lot for 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
His family still fighting her that he died almost 4 years ago. Until today, they want to take the body out of the cemetery to be buried in a Muslim cemetery in America. That's number one. Fact number one. We will not allow to bury ourselves next to the Muslim. So we have to have our own separate burial. Number two, they said what?
You can't buy servants who were captured by Muslims.
You know why? It's very simple. Muslims were capturing Coptic Christian, and they're going to sell them. If I am a Christian man,
I go buy a Christian.
I will set him free.
Set him free, exactly.
But they don't want that. They want to buy, kidnap us, sell us as slaves. Because if any one of the Christian break any of these rules we're talking about, Muslim has the right to kill the man, take the women and the children to be slaves. And if a Christian will buy them, they'll set them free, but they don't want that. It's a humiliation. Even we cannot buy our own slave, our own people who have been slaves, to set them free. These are the Pact of Omar law and rules. We'll continue.
It says, we will be guides for Muslims and refrain from breaching their privacy in their homes.
They can breach our privacy in our churches, but we cannot get near their homes. And they talk about few thousands of Muslims live in Egypt, and we were in the middle at the time. Majority of Egypt at this time, when we signed this contract, were Christian. But we know if we don't do it, this barbaric Muslim ISIS, like imagine today ISIS, will come and they will burn our churches, kill our men, destroy our land.
I got to get this straight. What you're saying is, when this all was occurring in Egypt, the Egyptians that were non-Muslims, they were in the millions.
Absolutely.
These Muslims with the Pack of Omar were just in the thousands.
It's exactly what's happening in Iraq today.
But they were intimidated by them because they knew that if they didn't comply,
they will wipe us out.
That those thousands would come and behead and slaughter.
How many?
Why is it, by the way, that the majority is always intimidated by the minority?
If the majority did not have the power and the might to defend themselves. If you go to ISIS, the number of ISIS is what? 40,000? 50,000, 100,000, there are 40, 50 million live there. But 500,000 are controlling 50 million because they have the might, they have the strength,
and they have the weaponry, which some of it came from us because we gave it to them to supposedly kick out Assad out of Syria.
Sadly.
And so, well, let's make that point.
Yeah.
Barack Hussein Obama's administration, did they not give ISIS the weapons who were supposed to be the the resistance,
the rebels,
the revolutionaries, the rebels,
to get rid of Bashir al-Assad,
to get rid of Assad. But what the rebels really were was ISIS, and they gave them the weapons. True or false?
Yes, and
that's true.
And they took plenty of weapons from Iraq, which was given to us in the last 8 years after the war in Iraq, where we empowered the Iraqi military, and this ISIS went to walk, and they took all the tanks, they took everything we gave.
Do Americans understand that our president has funded or equipped militarily ISIS? Do they understand that?
I don't think so. And right now, we're training 5,000 Syrians who will be nothing but another Muslim which we're going to give the weapon to kill the Christian in Syria.
And the same thing happened in Nazi Germany. The Nazis were a minority compared to the majority.
It's almost
and yet
like
they, of course, when they couldn't own weapons, when they took away their right to keep and bear arms.
And remember,
Yeah.
in Egypt they could not carry a sword
Exactly.
or a knife or a stick.
And what is the minority trying to do? The majority here in America
They'll
take
control.
away your right to keep and bear arms.
Absolutely.
Isn't it interesting that thousands can control millions?
It's always been like that
Always.
for the history of man.
It really
the
has.
history of mankind.
The Pack of Omar goes on to say, when I gave this document to Omar, he added it, we will not beat any Muslim.
So if a Muslim hit you, beat you physically, don't defend yourself, because if you hit him back, now you break the contract. Now you break the pact of Omar, which means what? Muslim can do whatever they wish, as we read here.
These are the conditions that we, the Christians, set against ourselves and followers of our religion in return for safety and protection. If we break any of these promises that we set for your benefit against ourselves, then our dimia, promise of protection,
Yeah.
is broken, and you are allowed to do with us what you are allowed of people of defiance and rebellion.
You know what it is? Killing the men, taking the women and children as concubines and slaves, takes the homes, takes the land, takes the money. Quran chapter 63 verses 26 and 27. Perfect solution. So what we have to do is we have to submit to these rules or we will be wiped out.
And then our next program, we're going to look at the lies about women in Islam. Let me just show you something here real quick, Usama. This is a news story that's brand new today. I've not showed you this. Here it is. So this is in the Washington Times. To appease Muslims, school district drops Christian Jewish holidays from calendar.
And then you know
this
what
is
the next
in
step?
what?
To appease a Muslim gives them all the holidays they want to have in our schools, in our community. It is take the light out, darkness coming in. Get rid of Christ, Muhammad came in. Get rid of Moses, Muhammad came in. Get rid of the Bible, the Quran get in. And it's one step another. So right now we're not gonna celebrate Christmas, we're not gonna celebrate Easter, we're not gonna celebrate Hanukkah, we're not gonna celebrate anything to appease a Muslim. And they will not be appeased enough. Why? Because they want to celebrate Ramadan, they want to celebrate Eid al-Adha, they want to celebrate all the things of Islam. And it's one step after one step. We're a bunch of cowards. And we allow Muslims to tell us what to eat, what to drink, what to dress, where to go, what to believe, what not to believe, what to do, what not to do.
Here we are filming on November 12th, 2014. This is the article in the Washington Times yesterday, November 11th, 2014. This is, headline again, to appease Muslims, school district drops Christian Jewish holidays from calendar. This is in Montgomery County, Maryland. It says CARE, Center for American Islamic
Cancel
Relations.
on American Islamic Relations.
What do you call it, cancer?
Cancel.
Cancel American.
It's a cancer.
Cancer?
It's actually what's a cancer. But the cancel on American Islamic Relations.
Council for American Islamic Relations, CARE, sought days off for, what are these holidays? Eid al-Fitr?
Eid al-Iftar. That's after you fast Ramadan.
Yeah. And Eid al-Adha.
That's the celebration of the killing of the sheep or the slaughter of the animals as they celebrate Muhammad taught them Abraham was about to sacrifice his son and Allah provided him with the big sheep.
So we're already giving in to the Muslims.
Absolutely. Step by step, slowly, they are boiling the frog of America in America here in the hot water. That's what it is.
They're going to eventually kill you and I for doing this program, aren't they?
Perhaps someday, seriously.
Great.
Perhaps seriously, it could happen.
As long as we have the Second Amendment, I think we'll be all right. And the Lord, of course.
Amen.
Because if he wants us to go, it's appointed a man that I wants. Our life is in his hands, isn't it?
Brethren, I always say, I could not add a second to my life,
right.
and no one can take a minute of my life.
That's
I'm
right.
going to live every one of them.
Aren't we thankful he is in control and has total rule?
Amen.
All right, the program you've been watching is The Straightway Television, as you see on the screen there, with your host, Usama Dakdak. And we're in our Memphis, Tennessee studios filming here. And we sure appreciate your telling your friends about this broadcast and our free app where they can watch our TV programs, listen to our radio shows, including his daily radio show. With our free app, you can download the free app at wvwtv.com/app. wvwtv.com/app. His website is thestraightway.org, thestraightway.org. You can find out about his speaking schedule, order some of his resources, books, DVDs, And you can make a tax-deductible contribution to his ministry there too at thestraightway.org. Again, thank you for watching. What are we going to talk about in our next program? The lies about women. Hey, look at that liberal public educator. Thought it was wonderful to teach about Islam. I wonder what she would think of this.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It would be a very
I highly doubt
thing.
she lets her husband tell her much less.
Oh, no.
Much less a bunch of Muslims telling
She
her what
would
to do,
not
right?
let me talk to her husband for a minute.
All right, folks. Thanks for watching. We look forward to talking to you on our next broadcast. Take care.